So this is Second Life. Back here again, my avatar there, Rialto Terashenko, on my Second Life region of New Tebanopolis, Bespin, a Star Wars roleplay simulator. And this is another one of my ships here. This is basically the ship that we see in The Last Jedi that Benicio del Toro's character, DJ, steals. It's not identical for a special reason. There's some little changes. It is bigger, but this is a Gilles de Lanceau custom yacht. No two are exactly the same. They were made to order, handmade. According to the lore, no droids were used to make these. All living beings work on these ships, no droids. Very exclusive ships, very fast, very luxurious. So I did make some small changes to the exterior. And the interior is very customized. They're supposed to use a lot of very expensive, rare woods in constructing the interiors. So that's what I did for the interior of this ship. We'll go in just a second and just maybe cam around here a bit, but we'll get a better look at this when I do a little flight here out of Anahuat Station, where this is the hangar of the station. So if you've seen the movie, maybe you can recognize the ship. We don't get a really good look at the ship in the movie, but there are some good cutaways now. One of the interesting features of the Gilles de Lanceau is its entryway, which is under the middle of the ship. It's not a ramp. It is a spiral staircase. Now, in Second Life, if you've ever tried using spiral staircases, they work, but they're irritating. And particularly, in order to keep the scale of the ship with proper proportions, I had to have a quite narrow spiral staircase. And it was very tedious walking up and down that staircase, so I made it work like an elevator, as you'll see. So basically what we do is we click the hatch, there's the staircase, and now we just left click on the stairs and we are taken up into the main cabin here. And in 15 seconds this automatically closes. You'll see the stairs will come back up and the door closes there. This is controlled by an access list. You just type add and then the player's name. So for me it would be add Rialto Terashenko, and you could remove people from access by the same method. So the main gallery here, or the main cabin, we have seating. You can actually seat 13 people in this area here. And that's the Star Wars Auto Chef. Useless, of course, doesn't really do anything, but these ships are supposed to have them, so I put them in there. And a holo communicator here, which we click the base, it turns on. Then you can click the holo images to get a to get another image. Offer roleplay bar, which does work for roleplay. It will give you a drink to use in roleplay if you want. You already see this is much larger than the ship we see in the movie. The ship in the movie was really slick. I really liked it. This is really one of my favorite ships now. I think they really did a nice job of making a Star Wars themed yacht. But the ship in the movie was a cockpit, a tiny lounge, and a really minuscule bedroom, which we don't even see in the movie, which was a little more, when you see the cutaway, a little more than a glorified coffin. So it kind of stole the feeling of having a luxury yacht for me. It was so cramped and small. So we come up here, and we have a med bay and a locker there. There's the bacta tank bubbling away there. I've changed the way the bacta tanks work. I had people who liked in the past who wanted to have a bacta tank that actually opened and you climbed into. So that's the way I used to make my bacta tanks. But I stopped for this one. I actually kind of like this way better. This way now you just left click on the glass of the bacta tank and you'll be inside. And you stand up and you will be moved out of the tank. So I actually kind of prefer this. I'm sort of changing what I do anymore, doing a little more of what I like maybe. Maybe it's not a good idea. Maybe I should do exactly what other people like. But we'll see. I always listen to suggestions, and that was one of them many years ago, actually. So I haven't heard anything more since from people. So I decided to try making my tanks like this, which is the way I did my first tank years ago. Now let's go this way. And we have the bedroom. So there's 2 sleeping spots there. With more lockers. We have a data archive there and a workstation. And the Star Wars Fresher, another thing that of course we don't need, but it's supposed to be in there, and so for authenticity, I like to include them. And I say this in my videos a lot, we don't need anything in Second Life. You don't need beds, you don't need seats, you don't need houses, you don't need different hairstyles, but you know, they add to the atmosphere. They add to things. So I put all this stuff in here. I want these to be authentic. So there is the exit, which actually this exit is controlled by that button right there to go out, and you would just click on the you just click on that tunnel there where the stairs go up and down, and it will take you out. And like I said, in 15 seconds that closes all by itself. So now we'll go up to the cockpit. These doors work on collision. You can click them or just walk into them. And once again, you just left click on this lift button here, and we are now in the cockpit. You can just walk into those doors, and they will open, and we have the pilot seat and 1 passenger sort of co-pilot seat. And as I mentioned, I used a lot of wood in making this, as it's supposed to be largely constructed with wood inside. Very expensive. So our controls here, and what I will do is take a little flight here so you get to see what the thing looks like in action, so to speak. All my seats, everything works with the left click. If you're the owner of the ship, you can fly just by right clicking and sitting, and you'll be put right into the pilot seat. No one else can fly the ship. There's no need to start or stop the ship. When you sit as the pilot, when you sit in the pilot seat, it's on. When you get up, it shuts down. So I'm just going to put my my cursor over the pilot seat here in the left, and there we are. So the engine's light up, and you can see, if you watch my mouse cursor, you can see it turn into a hand when I go over certain parts of the ship, and that means that's something you can click on. This is the gear. That's the toggle for the landing gear. And now we can fly out into the Anawad sector, so to speak. And you know, it's the regular motion keys that move your ship. You steer with the arrow keys, forward, backward with arrow keys, and page up and down will make you go up and down. So this is really a kind of cool yacht. I had wanted to build the Bowdell custom yacht. It's featured in some of the Star Wars comics, but I was not satisfied with it because it just doesn't feel like it has the Star Wars aesthetic to me. And I never finished building it. I just couldn't get into it. Just didn't feel right. Did not feel like a Star Wars ship. I got pretty excited about this ship in The Last Jedi, the Gilded Lanceau custom yacht, because I feel it does have that Star Wars feel to it. It does have that Star Wars design aesthetic, which I really love. And that's it. We'll go. I'll probably make another video. I got a lot of ships I've built. Just wanted to show that and give a little explanation of how to use these things. So I will be off for some more videos.